KLIF News Time 9:36. I'm Dave Williams with Amy Shadroff. Poll numbers being so close, there are a lot of people that are concerned that this presidential election may not be settled tonight. I know I'm remembering the horror that was the year 2000 and the hanging Chad election that went on for months and into the U.S. Supreme Court. Dallas attorney Chris Gober with Gober Hilgers is on the KLIF News and Information line to talk about this. And I understand that, sir, you have a very interesting practice and you know a lot about politics and the Constitution and such.
I try.
Well, we know that if there was, in fact, an actual dead heat in the Electoral College, then that would throw the deciding votes into the House of Representatives. And, of course, that's something that the Obama campaign does not want. But Can you foresee any other kind of problems? We've got all these lawyers ready to file actions against any perceived improprieties and so forth. Are there any major concerns that you have?
Well, I think, you mentioned the possibility of a tie. That's something that hasn't happened in 212 years, but based off the polling going in today, it very well could be a close election. I think there's 5 possible scenarios where the candidates end tonight in a electoral tie, 269 to 269. I certainly think that it's less than likely that would occur. And then, of course, you've got kind of the typical possibilities of recounts in various states across the country, like we had in Florida in 2000, a statewide election in the Senate race in Minnesota in 2008. So obviously anything's possible when the polls close tonight.
Do you think any of the email and fax balloting that's going on in New Jersey will be a legal factor?
Well, I don't think they will have a significant impact on the presidential election. I mean, the one thing, as a result of the hurricane and the states that were affected, there's not a whole lot of those states that will be in play for the presidential. Where it could have an impact, I mean, you have a close Senate race in Connecticut, certainly more impact some of the House races and down ballot races, but I don't think it's going to have too much impact on the presidential itself.
So we keep hearing about these attorneys for both presidential campaigns being ready to respond to any complaints from polling places and so forth, or to get together and file any major action that might be necessary. These are volunteers, is that right?
Well, in some cases, they're actually, paid attorneys from the campaigns. Usually what's kind of the MO for these campaigns is they hire their own campaign lawyers and staff, and they essentially run election day operations in the various competitive states. So they bring in volunteers from all over the country to help monitor the polls, really kind of feed up any problems up to the campaign, so they can kind of figure out, what needs to be dealt with and what's a serious enough issue to justify some kind of legal action.
I'm curious, in your practice, I mean, you represent senators, congressmen, and women. Have you done any legal challenges to different votes in your practice?
Well, I was actually involved with the 2008 recount in Minnesota. At the time, I was the general counsel of the National Republican Senatorial Committee, so that was obviously with Norm Coleman against Al Franken. That was one of our races. I'm actually in San Antonio today looking at Texas 23 with Congressman Kiko Canseco against Gallego. So that's where I am here today with a team just kind of overseeing things and make sure we don't have any problems with the polling places or anything down here that looks fishy.
All right. Mr. Gober, thank you very much for your time this morning.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Have a great day. There's Dallas attorney Chris Gober with Gober Hilgers.
KLIF News and Information time now 9:40. Traffic on the 5s just ahead.